Hi everyone, this is Papa Zero here once again on Windows 95, and today we shall look at the ultimate, probably, build with a fine-tooth brush. This is day 5 for me of the Crucible League, and we'll get into the build in just a few minutes, but first let me take you back. It all started 7 years ago while I was sipping some organic coconut water on Mount Tibia, and as I gazed into the distance, admiring the trees, the bushes, and some wildlife, a beautiful pumpkin spice colored bird flew across my periphery, spreading pumpkin spice flakes across the land for all to enjoy. Papa Z, you're basically describing the first episode of Pokemon, the OG series where Ash sees a mystical bird, probably a Pidgey, flying across the sky. Hey, hold on, Billy. In my true story, based on real events, I didn't have a green backpack on with an orange pocket. Don't be silly. My backpack's color was blue. As I was saying, the beautiful bird flew across the sky. I could not help but watch it as it slowly disappeared into the bright blue sky. Suddenly, I felt a nudge around my right foot. I looked down and saw a big yellow rat with red cheeks. Come on! Okay. I might have made that last part up. Anyway, the bird with its magestiveness inspired me to come up with this build. What do birds like? Water. What do we have in our belt? Vials full of water-like substances. What do birds find enjoyable? Life, yeah. And just like birds, we drink life in the form of a flask every few seconds. What do birds despise? Poison. What do our enemies hate? I rest my case, Billy. Thanks for making an appearance, by the way. No probs. Just like most builds I make, it's very hard to know where or how the build is going to end up, and this one is no exception. Initially I was thinking I'm going to have to do a little bit of life recoupage, life leech flask while taking damage, perhaps. Or maybe even an insane region to sustain the damage which the forbidden Rite blesses us with. After playing around with this build for the past few days, I think I came up, I think I came up with a very fun and unique way to not die to FR. Fire righteous, you say, Papa Zero? No. Forbidden Rite. We also don't really need mana for its trigger cost. Ooh, nice. Matter of fact, FR does very little damage to us. The 3 spells I have linked to life tab on cast when damage taken setup costs more life than FR doing damage to us. Nice. Yeah. Tell me more. I shall, Billy. But your segment is over, so if you could, scooch a little bit? Yeah, thanks. Anyways, as I was saying, oh yeah, this build is fairly cheap to put together as well. Maybe a few pieces might cost a little bit, but I have to say that I have not dropped a single divine the whole league so far. And I've been able to purchase or craft everything myself. Everything in total was roughly around 400 chaos. Price is subject to change and may vary depending on what day of the league you are on. Also, if a popular streamer makes a video on any of the items featured, then cry in the corner with the rest of us. Plus, there are so many things like Divergent Cyclone that are unnecessary. They are just a bit of quality of life. So, let's go over the offense. Typically, I don't boss at all, but with this build, it did take a bit of time to kill some of the tougher guardians, but the defenses are pretty solid. So if you take this build further than I did, go ahead, treat yourself to some boss killings. Look at this, I got 0 awakened gems. Just for you. I included a second gem setup, so if you do play this build with awakened gems, you get 40% more damage. Ooh, nice. Yeah, if you got the monies, you can take this build much further. I mean, come on, look at this amulet. Tier 3 damage over time multiplier. No plus chaos gem levels. Look at this weapon. It's a 2-stat item with the benchcraft. Both items costed me 10 chaos each. This just goes to show you can probably double your damage if you just spend a little bit of muns. Back to offense. Through our Ascendancy and Glorious Vanity Jewel, we have something like 75% chance to inflict Wither on hit. Forbidden Rite hurts us, of course, but that's why I have level 1 cast when damage taken setup linked to Eye of Winter and Blazing Salvo to hit enemies as much as we can to apply them withers. I also have Wither in step for good measure. Despair is linked to my level 10 cast when damage taken setup. Feel free to play with these setups. For me, this felt the best. Divergent HOA and poison chance on the trees to get the 100% poison chance needed. We explode our enemies with a good old gentle touch. And lastly, we have level 1 Vitality, Clarity, and Precision for this node right here. Alright, surprisingly my favorite portion of this build. We have permaflasks, of course, with much flask increased duration and effect on the tree. With our flasks up, we have 24k evasion with grace, and our flasks, we have the legendary petrified blood that saves our butt time and time again. We have righteous fire. I'm just kidding, guys. This league, the chaos monsters are real nasty, especially when they inflict wither on us. But this build takes them on no problem. We have a +3 max chaos resistance shield, Born of Chaos Cluster Jewel, and Divine Flesh for 86% chaos resistance, which then helps our elemental defenses as well. Nice. And now, introducing what you've been waiting for, the almost perfect flask that recovers nearly 4,000 life per second. Very nice. That's basically our whole life in 1 second. This is through the life recovery from Flask's notables, Flask increase effect, and 4 brood potency. In combination with Master Surgeon, making it possible for us to sustain our recovery through spammings of our flasks, or not spamming it, since it doesn't queue and is not removed when it's fill-ins, our life pool. Alright, and now onto the portion of alternative setups. Perhaps you want to try something a little different, or can't get a hold of the items you want. So initially I was thinking of going Numbing Elixir with Distilled Perfection, but after doing some testings, not only did I need more damage, the problem with the reduced effect of non-damaging ailments is that Freeze Box says, bye-bye, you're frozen. It's still good for Scorched, Brittled, etc., but it just wasn't for me. Also, as I mentioned earlier, I have 4k life recovery per second on this build, so there's no need for more. No need to overdo it. While leveling and not having enough passive points for medium cluster jewels, I used Peak Vigor. Going the old life gain on hit with spells route is a route to go. I was trying to craft this ring for the past 5 days, and finally I got it done earlier today, only to realize I don't need it. I really like cast when damage taken with the arc spell with chain support, but I ran out of rooms on my gear slots. But play around with different setup, guys. Let me know what you like. If you don't enjoy gentle touches, then maybe cast when damage taken setup for your temp chain is the way to go. If you can't get a hold of Divergent HOA or need more poison chance, try this on for size, or use a poison chance jewels. If you want to save yourself 5 points on the passive tree, Windscream may be good for you. Also in the POB is Annihilating Approach. You could run it, but be aware you will take 2500 fire damage to the face every second, so if you want to live dangerously and smash your flasks before clicking your mouse button in every new zone you enter, then use them. You would gain physical damage reduction, movement speed, and about 10% more damage. It's not bad. But note that my fire resistances are low when I take off my boots. The net life regen is -3k, but even with this setup, we're recovering 4,000 per second, so it would be sustainable. I also included this flask in POB that I used basically till level 94, till I found my Eternal Flask. This Divine one gives maybe about 2400 life recovery per second, so very, very good, and you can spam it every 7 seconds instead of 4. But it's personal preference, and maybe the content you're planning on doing. Last but not least, I tested Anomalous FR and Greater Volley. I even got lucky and corrupted my own enhance. I tried the FR in both red and green sockets on my chest, and the more projectiles it had, the less damage I did, because the more damage multiplier gems were out of my chest piece. Clear was good, and it was fun seeing like 15, 16 some projectiles fly all over the place. But really, it's the single target that we struggle with, and that's where it matters the most. Yes, POB says this and that is better, but in my own playtestings, my gems told me otherwise. Here's a little bit of footage from Catarina, only level 82 unfortunately, but just because we have no physical damage mitigation, you can see the dodges and petrified blood keeping us alive. Alright, thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time with another beautiful build.